Welcome everyone to Neverwinter on PC. My name is Rainer and today I'm giving you an update on the latest changes to Masterwork. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, and if you would like to see more information on videos about Neverwinter, hit subscribe button. The rework of Masterwork is on the live server now, a little bit quicker than I expected, but it is there, actually for a couple of days already. And also the Ciaran Masterwork recipes all also have been on preview available also for a couple of days. But I'm also only making this video now because I was still updating my Masterwork sheet with all the new recipes, which of course is quite a bit of work. I will be releasing that sheet in the next couple of days, but not yet. It's not completely done yet. I'm still doing the items page, and I will be going through that sheet later on, as well as talk through the cost of the new weapons. Before we dive into the new recipes, let's first look at the changes to the reworked Masterwork 1 to 5 stuff, which again have already landed on the live server, but let's just go through it for completeness sake. So the recipe books, which we still buy at the artisan, they used to be 100,000 AD, but now they are 500,000 AD each. So instead of buying all of these Coulson Masterwork 1 and 2 books for 1.4 million AD, now buying all of these is 7 million AD. It's a little bit more expensive than before, but still it's nowhere near the cost of what it used to cost to unlock it with all of the items that you have to craft. So this has changed, not much else to talk about this. Then we have the tools. They were 50,000 AD, they're now 100,000 AD, but they're not mandatory to buy. You don't have to do that unless you want to have the fashion. But the tools, they're not really that fantastic. If you have a forge hammer, that's a lot better. I think this here hasn't changed. I think 2 new items were added here, so something was wrong. I didn't really look at it that much, but this is still the same other than that. And then we go to the traveling merchant. This is also very interesting. We still have the book exchange, which gives you supplements, which you cannot use anymore in recipes, but you can still use it when crafting. But more interestingly, now we have a exchange for your chart resources. So these are the resources that you get as spruce logs, ebony log. These resources were the ones that you got on the charts that were removed. So now instead of having to put them in your coffer because there's nothing else you can do with it, now you can exchange it for higher level Masterwork resources, including the new stuff from Masterwork of Hermandad, so like the Dryad Hair, Corpse Flower Thorn, Hardened Blight Bark. There's a lot of stuff. Chilton Woods is new, although this was in the older recipes. Questionable Leather, Shade Leaves, this is new. Silver Tongue Moss, Soul Fireflies, Weeping Willow's Tears. Love that name, by the way, that's great. Yeah, so you can get the Masterwork 5 stuff. I'm just going to call it that for now. The sort of Chilton Masterwork, that's still here. Resources from that, but also from Hermandad resources. And so this is all the chart stuff, but also we have the more advanced resources you can also exchange. These are all in increments of 5. This is, by the way, Chilton Woods Ingot. This is all Masterwork 5 stuff that you get out of it, so you don't get advanced Hermandad resources out of these more advanced exchanges. These advanced exchanges are all in increments of 5, so you exchange 5 of these for 1 Lichstone, for example. Here we have exchanges 10 for 1 for the regular resources. If you have the +1s, you can exchange 5 of the +1s for 1 +1 resource. I'm not sure why this is different, because you're also getting a +1 back. I guess because these are more rare. That's the only thing I can come up with. but for me it could have been the same as well. So it means if you have 2 of something, you can still not exchange it. It's not 1 for 1, but that's fair enough, I guess. So yeah, we got exchanges now for resources. That's good. If you remove recipes, you need to have an exchange. So great that to see that. If we go here to the generalist where you can buy the scrolls are now here. The Ciaran scrolls for 3,000 guild marks each. That was already known, but now also the Omu explorer case is back to 1,500 guild marks. This was upped to 3,000. Not sure why. Maybe because the Cholton Woods ore was added there, which I think is still called Cholton Woods, right? The name is not consistent, but I think here, yeah, here's called Cholton Woods. And if I buy one of these, I really dislike inconsistency in this stuff. It's called Cholton Woods. Okay, it's not ore. So that was added to Omu, and I guess that's why it went to 3,000, but they lowered it back to 1,500. So that's that. That's all of the stuff that has changed for the old masterwork. I guess some recipes also changed, which I'm not going to go through now, but there were some recipes that used the resources that were from which the recipes were removed. So that was also fixed. Are there still issues there? I don't think there's issues left. So the Cholton recipes don't use resources anymore that you cannot craft or gather. So now we are in Hermandad, where the quest givers are, this platform where you also have this striker bronze pin, and if you talk to him, if you're not bugged, I hear a lot of talk that people are bugged. I'm not sure what's going on there exactly. I don't have a character that doesn't have masterwork, so I cannot really look into that. But yeah, if you don't have a bugged character, you had masterwork already, you will see this menu with 5 options. You will have here the masterwork of Hermandad option, where you can buy the new recipes, and these also have been increased in price. They were 500,000 before, now they're 1.5 million. So to unlock all of these recipes, it will cost you 10.5 million AD. The armor smithing, tricky one, don't buy it more than once. I guess this is a bug because of the old weapon smithing and armors. No, it's not armor smithing. What was it? Weapon smithing, and it was armor smithing, right? No, it is armor smithing. I think there was 2 professions that were merged, and I guess that's why this is bugging out. I'm not sure about that, but yeah, don't buy it more than once. You will have it. So you can buy these now, same as with the Cholton masterwork. No need to make recipes or do commissions or whatever to unlock your recipes. You can just buy them and be done. So that's really quick. There are other options, however. There is a commissions thing where you can still make all kinds of commission items, which will give you these Hermandad favors. You can have a maximum of 100,000 apparently, and these are not to unlock recipes, which it was for Masterwork 5. You had to do 50,000 of these commissions in order to be able to get the recipes for Masterwork 5. That is not the case anymore, as we saw, because we can just buy them. What we can do with these Hermandad favors is buy a couple of items, and all of these items cost 25,000 AD, and you can buy these Fey tools with them, and also a Shining Bark Shield enchantment, I guess. The Fey tools have 475 proficiency and focus, and have 10% recycle. It's not fantastic, I guess, especially if you look at the fact that you can also have a legendary Alembic or legendary Picatrix, which has 550 proficiency and focus and also has 10% recycle. So yeah, these items, there's no need to get these commissions unless you want to be a completionist. I don't know if these are in collections and you want to complete the collections to get them, but I surely hope not, because that's gonna be a little bit of a pain. Some people might be looking at buying this Shining Bark Shield enchantment, but that depends on how much it costs to get this amount of commissions. 25,000, keep that in mind. We're going to go into that subject later on via the sheet as well, because I've calculated in there exactly how much it will cost to get this much commissions, and which commission recipe is the best one to do this. So that's very useful in there. And I think that is all of the options here. So that's what you can do. You can just buy the recipes and fill in commissions. The commission tasks you get via the recipes. And if you have 25,000, you can buy your Bark Shield or whatever tool that you would like to get. But I wouldn't buy. I'm not gonna buy the tools. Anyway, let's go to the sheet where we can look in more detail what is going on with these recipes. All right, we're here, version 4.2. I've already added a lot of stuff here. Yeah, I need to change this back. This was increased, but it's now lower again. I added most of the stuff here, and we're going to go through this sheet by sheet. Conflict, not much has changed here. I just added here a couple of lists, which you can use to copy and paste here as text. And then you have the resource artisans in here, or the product artisans in here. In my calculations, these were the best ones. And these are the best if you want to focus on getting a +1 item with a lower chance of succeeding on getting an item at all. So if you really want the +1, you have to go for these. So not much else has changed here. If we go to the resources, as I think I mentioned, yeah, to get all the prices, you have to fill in the values. So what I did here is fill in all of the values. Let me select this. And yeah, you could already see here we have resources that are very, very, very expensive, and I will explain exactly why. This crystalline ornament with prices on the auction house of a couple days ago, this will cost 4 million AD per piece. And we also have the thorned ornament, which will be at 3.5 million. Woven whiskers, 1.1 million. Items are crazy expensive. Do I have the resource yet? How did I get to these values? Because these are not things these are things that you craft. What I did is I filled in all of the prices of the items that you can either buy on the auction house as resources that you can farm, or resources that you farm from charts, the new charts, or resources that you can gather in Vault of Stars or on the Jarrod maps. There are things like that. The resources that you can craft, of course, you cannot buy it on the live server because they're not there yet. The recipes are not on the live server just yet for the Jarrod Masterwork. So what I did there is fill in the prices for all the items that are available, and then check with the optimized artisans for resources, check how much these more advanced resources would cost. And here, how much they would cost without having any profit. So I also removed the posting fee, the sales fee, because I'm not going to sell the resources. I want to see what the cost is of the final item that I can make. So that means I'm not going to sell my resources. So I don't want to keep that in mind. So I really minimized the cost of all these items as much as possible by optimizing as much as possible. And then if you fill in the champions for the products, so these can make the products, the final products, cheaper. Yeah, you can come to a good price. Something, by the way, that you can see here, in order to make resources, you often see you need artisans with dab hand, because resources double up if this procs. And for the products, you will see that these all have recycle. Yeah, these have recycle, and I think these also all have recycle. Even though they're +1, these all have recycle. But let's go back to the resource artisans. Items, I have not updated it just yet. It's the last thing that I need to do, and then I can release this version 4.2, and it's going to be super useful for you guys. Recipes, let's skip that for now. I'm going to go through that in a minute. Let's go through these first. Artisans, I did not do anything because it's still the same. Then tools, I think I already added this, so nothing much changed there as well. Supplements, nothing changed. Explorer charts, very interesting. If you fill in the values, you can see which chart is the best to farm to get AD. And you can see solutions are 2.4 AD per guild mark invested. You invest 15 on the guild marks. Omu 1.4 AD per guild mark. The Grove 3.1, the Myers 3.6, and then you have the Ruins, which will give you 28 AD per guild mark invested. So yeah, if you want to farm masterwork resources to get AD, so you don't want to craft it yourself, but you just want to farm this for selling, it's pretty clear which is the winner. Of course, this is a snapshot. This is one moment in time, and things can change over time. But for now, yeah, in my snapshot, it was very obvious. Then unlocking prices, of course, this has changed. It was 100,000 each. This is now 500,000 each, and these are 1.5 million. We already saw that in the game. Sharon commissions, let's go to these first. Yeah, these have not changed. So let's go through these first. So there's quite a few items that you can make. Blacksmithing, tailoring items, and like before, they have incredibly large differences of prices of how to get to your milestone of getting something out of it. As you can see here, these 10 panels, they give 400 commission. They cost 18 million to make because they have 2 thorned ornaments and 4 woven whiskers in there, and also frozen dawns do. This one has extremely expensive resources consumed and only 400 commission. So if you try to get 25,000 credits via this recipe, it will cost you 1.1 billion AD. I wouldn't go that way. So this is very interesting. If you would look at the cheapest option, alchemy is also rather cheap. Alchemy is often cheap. I think for Masterwork 5 was also one of the cheaper options. But the cheapest option is actually here armor smithing, the finger bow releases, because they just use Feywood lumber, 2 elm lumber, 2 hardened blight bark, 1 shard of dawn's light. So this one is a little bit more expensive, and 1 soulfire flies, which is not that expensive. So it just has one a little bit more expensive resource used, but this gives 1500 commission. And if you try to get 25,000 commission credits via this recipe, it will only cost you 3.6 million. So you can get that bark shield enchantment for 3.6 million AD. Let me go back real quick and see what rank it was. So yeah, it's a rank 9, 3.6 million AD for a rank 9. It also binds on pickup to accounts, and that's true for everything. These even bind to character, so you cannot sell it. So only if you want to have this for the looks, you can farm it, and you cannot sell it. So yeah, 3.9 million for this thing. So again, this is with a snapshot of prices. If you change the prices of all the resources to be more accurate again, because prices change over time, you will get an updated view of what is the cheapest to make here. But yeah, I think this one is going to be very high on the list. And seeing that you can get all of these recipes basically, yeah, I wouldn't say for free. 1.5 million is a lot of AD for a lot of people, but you can get this recipe if you invest 1.5 million. Yeah, I think everyone is going to be making this one. So South Sea Commissions, nothing changed. Languages is just a utility sheet. So let's go to the recipes. Here I filtered out all of the Chilton masterwork, so we only see the Charon masterwork. What you can see here for all of the advanced resources is that I filled in all of the resources that you use. And then the production, I filled in values for these items that we produce in such a way that I have just a little bit of profit. And this makes it so that I could choose to reuse this. Well, I have to reuse this item because selling would give me a loss. If I would sell it for this much, the auction house would take off 10% and I would have a loss. So this is really with the intention of reusing it instead of buying this resource on the auction house. Because if I would buy this resource on the auction house, it would never be cheaper than this. That would be very odd, to be honest, because this is the cheapest way to produce it. So yeah, I filled in this value in a way that I have almost zero margin, and I did that for all of the recipes. With my champion artisans, you can see a Feywood lumber is actually on two places. It's on artificing where you make a loss. So artificing is a less efficient way to produce Feywood logs other than, where's the other one? Armor smithing, I think. Yeah, here. Feywood lumber, I mean. So Feywood lumber is here, where I have a nice margin of 0.06%, and then artificing is probably because, yeah, it is because of the artisan. So for armor smithing, I just have a better artisan to do this, because in artificing I make a loss. So yeah, the rest all is almost at zero. All of the resources, I have very little profits, and you can see here already woven whiskers. I make 2, which is worth 2.1 million AD because it uses 15 displacer beast whiskers, which are about 150,000 AD each. These are very expensive. They drop in Vol of Stars, and they're pretty rare. So needing 15 for 2 of these is pretty insane. Let me see, the more crazy things, even more crazy ones, are in jewel crafting. We have the beads of light, which are very expensive, not as expensive as the woven whiskers, but still very expensive because of the shards of dawn lights. Silver tongue mosses, I think, also pretty expensive. But yeah, here we also have quite expensive thing, and 2 crystalline ornaments. Well, yeah, we have to invest 9.6 million AD to have a success here on average, taking into account the success percentage. Thorn ornaments are a little bit cheaper because they don't use the shards of dawn light, but instead corpse flower thorns, which are a lot cheaper. But still, yeah, this is very expensive. By the way, I did add a column here for people that were using the spreadsheet. I only had this and this column, so the AD used, which is a summary of all of the, a sum of all of the items that I'm using to make this recipe. So this is how much I use for one attempt, and success cost is basically this cost per use divided by the success chance minus the money that I get back from recycle. Because recycle gives me back some of these consumed materials on a chance. So yeah, now we have this as well. This is very useful to see how much it actually costs to make something, because this is just an attempt, and this is the actual cost of the item. If we want to go to the final costs, right now we have the wrong artisans, so here you can see the new weapons, and we have these. If we want to go to the actual cost, of course we need to swap the artisans. We don't want to have artisans with dab hand, because the final products, they don't double up with dab hand. They don't work. So there we want to have our artisans that work with recycle. I'm going to use these for now. So not focusing on the +1. I just want to make these items. And in a second, I will also add a supplement because that also makes a big difference. If we look here at how much it costs to make some of these weapons, you see the longbow almost 12 million, the pack blade 14 million, the silver vine and orb and scepter, these are the most expensive ones at just over 17 million, favorite loot 10 million, same as the icon. The grimoire is only 1.2 million because it doesn't use ornaments. Yeah, crystalline ornaments, thorn ornaments. And this one doesn't use either of those, so it's much cheaper. Talisman 12.8. We have the buckler and shield. The shield is extremely expensive, less than 1 million to craft. Buckler is 12, just over 12 million. And we have also the sword knot and tailoring. Sword knot here at 14.3 million because it also uses these ornaments. But yeah, these prices are without a supplement. And supplements, of course, also cost money, but they also give you something back for that. I want to take a look at 2 supplements. So in the first case, I want to focus on the success chance. And if we go to supplements, we see that with the supplement with the highest proficiency is actually the new Hermit's Incense +1 for 150 proficiency. Let's take a good look again at the price here. The Silver Vine Orb and Scepter, they are just over 17 million AD, so keep that in mind. And now we're going to add this Hermit's Incense +1 here. Hermit's Incense +1. Let's copy that over as text. So now we're using this proficiency of this item, and you can see that this lowers the price of these items by 2 million AD. So unless the Hermit's Incense costs 2 million AD a piece, it's definitely worth using them to make these items. It's very much worth it. It's not taken into account in the price, by the way, because I don't have the price of the supplements and the spreadsheet is not using that. But you can see that it lowers the success cost by 2 million AD, and that's just because we're raising the success chance here. There's another way of looking at this and not focusing just on proficiency, but also adding recycle, because this means if you fail, you get your resources back instead of losing them. And that's via this distilled Hermit's Keep. We still get 90 proficiency instead of 150, so we lose a little bit of proficiency, so our success chance is a little bit lower. But if we fail, we have a 30% higher chance of getting our investments back. So again, this is the Hermit's Keep. Let's fill that in. And let's real quick go back here. We were at 15.1 million AD. And if we go to the distilled Hermit's Keep +1, fill that in everywhere. Then the price of these items is slightly lower. Now it depends on what the price of the supplements is, of course. If this supplement is much more expensive than the Hermit's Keep, the normal Hermit's Keep, then it might still be more practical to use that one instead, which I can actually imagine that it's a lot cheaper because it's a lot easier to make. But yeah, those are the 2 options for the final items. For the advanced resources, where you need Dab Hand, you could also use this here. I haven't really looked at it exactly what the increase in value is. I can do that later on, but you can also do this if you have the sheet. So that's a way to play with this. Let's put this back. No, let's just leave it at this. So now we can take a final look at what the actual production cost is of making these final weapons. And also other stuff. So commissions are now also lower because we're using decent artisans, and we're actually also using this. I guess for the commissions, let's remove this real quick and look at the commissions. This will still be the lowest, so you can see it's 3.3 million AD in order to get 25,000 25,000 commission here. Let's add this again, and then we can go back here. We have some potions. We have the distilled items. They are not expensive to make, to be honest. They're very, very cheap. You make one here? Yeah, I think you make one. And then we have the Hermit's Incense. Actually, this one is more expensive. That's very interesting. Yeah, this uses a lot more expensive resources. So the distilled version is actually, it makes it cheaper to make your resource, and it's cheaper to use, because this is much more expensive. Anyway, let's go to the buckler. 10.7 million, 10.8 million AD to create. This is without taking into account the auction house cut. This is the production price. So no profit, nothing, no auction house cut there. So yeah, expect this to sell for at least 12 million AD. Probably a little bit more if people want to make a profit. If you need this, I'm not sure what class uses this one. Is typically what I add here on the product, the item sheet. You can see here. But it is one of the tanks. If you use the shield instead, it's a little bit cheaper. Yeah, it's just 810,000 AD. So yeah, one of the tank classes is going to be scammed here a little bit because they have a much more expensive shields. Then we go to artificing, where a lot of the weapons are made. Longbow for of course the ranger, 10.4 million AD production cost. Pack blade for the warlock, 12.1 million. The orb for the wizard, 15.1. The scepter for, I don't know why it's with an O, but it's scepter. For the scepter for, is that for the cleric? No, the icon is for the cleric. What is the scepter for? Not sure, but it's also 15.1. Then the loot for the bard, of course, 8.8. The icon, pretty sure this is for the cleric, 8.8. The grimoire for the warlock, 1.1. So we can already see the set for the warlock here is 13.3 million AD production cost. So they can buy the set probably in the end for like 20 million or something with the profit margins. Then the Thorn Talisman for the talisman is, it doesn't matter, 11.2 million AD. We have still 2 recipes for commissioned items that use laminated steel and adamant blades, which the recipes are removed. So these items we should not be able to use anymore, or we should not have in recipes anymore. So these are still bugs that need to be fixed. I guess that's gonna be fixed before these go to live. Then we have a couple more weapons here in blacksmithing. We have the broad slab. I guess this is for the barbarian, 2.4 million AD. The carved blade, 1.9-ish. The club, 1.6. Rapier, 7. Stiletto, 7. Blades, 1.1. Dagger, 10.3. Dagger and stiletto. Yeah, the rogue has also an expensive offhand, I guess. And we have some amulets also in jewel crafting, which have a very varying price. We have a couple of rings also in jewel crafting. Yeah, the glowing assault restoration rate and Dawn's light ring. I think this gives daily extra damage on daily and some other stuff. But yeah, you can see this here, the assault ring is 3.1 million AD and the raid ring is 166,000 AD. So that's a crazy difference, and that's just because this one uses beads of light, which are expensive resources. And in leatherworking, no, but in tailoring we have the sword knot for 12.7 million AD, the offhand for the barbarian. But yeah, if you look at some of the regular gear items, they're also around 10 million AD, 4 million AD. Very, very expensive to craft. I guess the sashes are also going to be used for maybe tanks. I haven't really looked at the equip bonuses. But yeah, I will once I also have to add this to the character builder, of course. But yeah, gear items are also very, very expensive. I don't think they're gonna be worth it. Maybe in some niche cases they're gonna be worth it, but I haven't seen really special equip bonuses in here that will make me go for these items instead. So yeah, these are the prices and these are how you can get to them. I guess that's it. As I said, I will be updating this item sheet still to put in all of the final items. So you can fill in a price and it will also tell you what your profit margins are at a certain price. And after that, I will get the sheet into the world. That's it for today. Again, quite a long video, but I wanted to give you an update on everything that I've learned on Masterwork and everything that I've done in the sheet, and I hope it helps. If you have any remarks on this video or any suggestions on what to investigate next, feel free to leave a comment below and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks so much for watching and see you in the next video.